Twin City Mini is the Twin City St. Paul, and in Minnesota is the Twin City Minneapolis Moline. It's a tractor. You probably never had here, right? Minneapolis Moline. Guy in St. Louis told me last year, he said, if you've owned a Minneapolis Moline, you're going to heaven because you've already been through hell. I'm glad that you appreciated that joke, ma'am. I can tell you're from a family farm. I can tell you're from a farming family. Any farmers here today? I can tell you my farmer joke. My farm joke. It's the three prostitutes. Three prostitutes are talking about the clients they've had the week before. The one said, you know, I had a policeman last week. And they said, you didn't? He said, I did. How'd you know? Said, when we were through, he showed me his badge. Next one said, I had a fireman last week. Said, really? How'd you know? Said, when we were through, he put on his wetsuit and paraded around the room a little bit. And the third one said, I had a farmer last week. Said, you had a farmer last week? Said, yeah, I had a farmer last week. Said, how'd you know? Said, when we were finished, he asked if he got a free hat. 2 hat jokes in Haarlem in one night. This is he asked if he got a free hat. Said, when we were finished, he asked if he got a free hat. Might have to explain. A lot of farmers want a free hat. Wherever they go, they ask for a free hat. I can't believe I'm explaining this joke right now. The free hat prostitute farmer joke in the middle of the Patronaat in Haarlem with ice bears on my wallpaper in my... This is a surreal evening for me. You know the one? 2 cows on a grassy knoll in California. The one cow says to the other, so, what do you think about this mad cow disease? The other one says, why should I care? I'm a helicopter. 2 cows on a grassy knoll in California. The one says to the other, so, what do you think about this? I find you should tell him twice. What do you think about this mad cow disease? He said, why should I care? I'm a helicopter. Thank you very much. Great joke. You're on the bus, buddy. You're on the bus. All right. When I was a kid, we are one of the very last, this band right here is one of the very last full-time traveling rock and roll shows left in North America. We're one of the very last ones full-time traveling. And this somewhere is somewhere around our 40th show this year. We played 225 last year. We were going to slow down, but we didn't. So here we are. And a lot of people ask me, they say, do you notice when you go to the Netherlands that people are getting taller? I said, yeah. They said, what do you think that's from? I said, I think they're worried about the global climate change warming. I think they're trying to grow above the water. I think it's evolution. I think, you know, when a frog needs a 5th leg, it just grows. Well, I figure you people know that soon those frickin' dikes aren't going to be good enough and you're going to have to breathe. And I think evolution has kicked in here in the Netherlands because you're getting taller for sure. You're getting taller. Absolutely. Do any of you feel taller? I like this guy who's over here is going. You're checking, buddy. Nice. All right. When I was a kid, I was raised in the Christian Reformed Church. Some of you know about the Christian Reformed Church. Probably not a lot of Christian Reformers here tonight. Yeah! Isn't that funny? The same guy who licked the toad. The toad lick. He's a Christian Reformed toad licker. The CRTL. So what do you belong to? I belong to the CRTL, Christian Reformed Toad Lickers. We lick the toads twice on Sunday. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Here's a great trick for you aspiring entertainers. If the crowd doesn't clap, tell your band members after 10 seconds, you fucking clap. right. All right.
You're doing good, Fred.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You're doing good, Fred. It's like the Olympics here. 6.9 for the Canadian, yeah. When I was a kid, my mother took me to church. She took me to a church meeting on a Wednesday. It was on Wednesday because we went to church all the time. We went to church twice on Sunday because we were worse than everybody else. Couldn't work on Sunday. We tied the rooster up on Saturday night. We tied the rooster up on Saturday night.
I don't get it.
It's like having 150 sidemen.
Why, Fred?
So when my mother took me to the church meeting on a Wednesday night, I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old, and it was 35 miles. It took an hour to get there. Hey, sir, excuse me, sir, whoa. Try to only talk during the songs, okay? Thank you. Fuck. She takes me to the church meeting. It was 40 miles. It took an hour to get there because the DeSoto shimmied at 35. Remember shimmying? Not this new little shaking they called shimmying. You old guys will remember real shimmying. Kingpin shimmying. Remember the kingpins, they shimmied. Your mother would take you out an hour before you went to the dentist to see if she could get the teeth out with the car. Remember? Real shimmians. Took an hour to get there, and when we got there, she was walking me up the hall in the high school. We were on the way to the gymnasium to where the preacher was, and we walked by this room, and there was a young guy sitting on the floor. They were about 18 years old, 19 years old, sitting on the floor with electric guitars and great big amplifiers, and they were playing rock and roll. They were playing rock and roll, and we didn't know what it was. We'd never seen it before, and she didn't know what it was either, but she knew it was wrong, and she grabbed me and she got me down to that gymnasium where the preacher was, but as fast as I could, I made an excuse to get out there, and I ran down that hall into that classroom, and I was saved that night. I was saved. And this is the generation right here. This is the rock and roll generation. This was the generation that was raised with the steel dashboard. Remember you had the steel. This was not a pussy generation. This was a hardcore generation raised with the steel dashboard. You were hit in the car, you were killed instantly. You were not a burden on the healthcare system. The only padding in that car was on the seat and on the doors because they knew you'd be loving your baby up in there and they wanted to make it nice for you. And in the middle of that dashboard was a big radio. Great big radio with great big aluminum, stainless steel knobs. You didn't have seek or scan. You didn't need them because there were only 5 big buttons, contoured, big frickin' steel buttons. And they contoured them because they knew you'd be working them. And you didn't need seek or scan because every song was good on every channel, remember? Good song, good song, good song, good song commercial. Remember? And even when you were loving your baby up in the car, you couldn't keep your eyes off that radio. Remember, because it was rock and roll, and you were in on the deal. Remember, rock and roll was coming down the antenna, it was changing your life. It was rock and roll, you were for it. You were in, it was a revolution. Rock and roll. I know there's conservatives and liberals here, democracy, socialism, whatever you believe in. I don't go for any of that shit. I've only belonged to one party in my life. I joined in 1963 when I was 6 years old. It's called the Rock and Roll Party. It only has 2 platforms, this one and this one. And lately, ladies and gentlemen, there's been too much of this one and not enough of this one. Not enough of this one. I can see a lot of you used to belong to the Rock and Roll Party, and then you bought a vacuum cleaner one day. Some of you might want to come forward after the show, rejoin the Rock and Roll Party. Rejoin the Rock and Roll Party. You could set that vacuum cleaner out in the curb tomorrow. Just put it out in the curb, look around the neighbors, go, hey! I'm back! I'm back! Hey, you can start a campaign here. We'll turn all the walk and don't walk signs in Haarlem to don't walk, walk. Think anybody's gonna jaywalk on that? Good song, early 60s, good song, good song, good song, early late 60s, hot time, summer in the city. Back of mine, oh Lord, won't you buy me a mercy? There's a lady who knows all that. Good song, good song. Right through 71, good song, good song. 73, good song, good song, good. And you push that button in 1974, good song, good song. And you push that button, and it's that fucking Tony Orlando and Dawn tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. And that was it for rock and roll, wasn't it? It was over right there. It was over. And after that, they sent in a guy named Donny Osmond. Horrible, the 1-2 punch, remember? Rock and roll party's the only party to have a real revolution in the last 100 years is the rock and roll party. Such a good revolution, the government got so worried about it, they formed a boy band called the Monkees, and they sent them in to circumvent it. Got very serious here. I like that it gets serious when you're talking about rock and roll here. Me and Betty Oshawa, we had a little band. I met her in a parking lot when I answered a warrant ad. We played every single juke joint and every little bar and every little honky-tonk you could get to with a car. And it was fire on the mountain. That was her favorite one. But there was nothing that I didn't know, so we played the top 40 radio, even though we didn't really like the song. I was wrong. We didn't really get along. My ego was as big as a roadhouse parking lot. And sometimes I'd hear her praying outside her dressing room for help with the songs she didn't want to do. And it was fire on the mountain. That was her favorite one. So we played the top 40 radio, even though we didn't really like the song. I was wrong. grocery store. to town to play the local host. She always leaves her number, but I don't return the call. And it's fire on the mountain